Do what?
I was actually just going to sign a seat.
Notice she sat as far away from me as possible. Yeah, y'all gonna have a hard time seeing over there probably. It'll be okay. Yeah, y'all welcome. Oh, you did come up here. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, don't fall off. All right, good to see everybody tonight. We have an opportunity tonight to hear from our mission team who just got back from Oregon. And before we do that, while it's fresh in my mind, because I will straight forget, we have an opportunity to partner with Pontotoc Police Department and Pontotoc Fire Department. On August 3rd, which is a Wednesday night, they are doing a pack a truck, pack a cruiser with school supplies there in Walmart parking lot from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock that Wednesday. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is next Sunday, and I'll send a text out about this, but next Sunday, just if you think about it this week, pick you up some school supplies, bring it next Sunday, and we will make sure it gets delivered to them, and then in the hands of some of our children in our communities that need help. So great opportunity to minister to our community, and we'll be able to do that. And so look forward to that opportunity. Yeah. You know they're going to need pencils, they're going to need crayons, they're going to need notebooks. I mean, just, yeah, whatever. Huh? Paper, yeah. There'll be lists. There'll be lists up there, sure will. So, yeah, that would be an easy thing to do. Just grab a list and pick you out 2 or 3 things and get them. But yeah, bring those Sunday morning for our worship service, and we'll collect them somewhere. We'll have some kind of instructions for. I may let Brother Glenn do that. We'll let him decide where the best place for that would be, and we'll get that done. There was one more thing that I wanted to tell you before I forgot, and I forgot. Well, maybe I'll be able to do it later. So good to see you guys tonight. We have our Oregon team, at least part of them, up here on the stage. We have, I think, 2 others that are in the audience watching because they didn't want to talk. We may embarrass them later, but not right now. Let me open with a word of prayer, and we'll just get rolling. Father, thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to send mission teams and to minister to people right here in the U.S. We certainly have teams that go all across the world. We have missionaries that we support all across the world, but a great opportunity here to support a church plant, support our church planter, Matthew Cooper, as he works there in Oregon, and great opportunity for our team to learn and grow and minister and to serve others. And so thank you, Lord, for allowing us to do that, and thank you for a church that's willing to work and give and support and pray and send. Lord, we praise you for that stuff. We ask that you be with us during this time, that we would learn, we would hear, we would receive everything you would have for us to receive tonight, and we ask these things in the name of Christ. Amen. All right, so there is no plan. So what do y'all want to do? Okay, not jumping jacks. Okay. So do we want to go through some of the pictures? Do we want to talk a little bit about what y'all did? Do y'all want to use the pictures as your guide? How do y'all want to do it?
I think we ought to start with the Sunday service.
Okay.
Back to what we did, and then lead them through the week and tell about the pictures.
Cool.
Because Sunday's got a good story. Sunday has a real good story. Y'all are going to love it.
You talking about the Sunday there in Oregon?
Yes.
Okay.
They're going to love the story.
So before we get to Sunday, let me ask you this. How was the airport?
No good. Bob, you care?
Some airports are a lot better than others.
Yeah, I agree.
Phoenix claims to be the friendliest airport in the United States. Well, I don't take it that way, and I don't think any of us took it that way. Of course, TSA, they've got a job to do, and of course, I'm the poster child for being stopped and searched at every one of them. I guess they pick me out when I walk in. So they wasn't the most friendliest people in the world, and I didn't meet anybody friendly there. But we were friendly.
That's good.
I say we were. We, later on, after about 12 hours, we wasn't so much as friendly as we should have been, but it was lack of sleep. But we had a couple that kept us going, and adventures were fun.
Gotcha. So how long did it take you to get from Thaxton, Mississippi, leaving at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it was, to boots on the ground in Medford, Oregon?
24 hours.
A solid 24 hours. Okay.
Thank you, Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. All right.
You
Don't
know,
forget to use the mic because we're streaming.
Just when we thought we were going to get out of there, a thunderstorm came. They hadn't had rain in months, and a thunderstorm came, so it shut us down for 2 more hours.
Yes.
So that was an adventure.
I got you. So 24 hours, and y'all
24
didn't
hours.
walk. Y'all, this was,
No.
you were trying to fly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it took a minute. But y'all made it.
We did make it.
Okay. And then y'all landed on a Saturday? What? I don't even
Yes,
remember.
it was Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Okay.
Yes.
And I saw, and we'll get into the Sunday service there, y'all had an opportunity to worship with Living Hope.
Yes.
And I saw in the pictures, now, we don't have anybody that complains about hard, white plastic chairs in worship in our, on this mission team, except for Jeff. And I noticed that, Jeff's on our building committee. We've been working to try to get our new chairs and all that, and so he knows all the frustrations of that. But I noticed in the picture from Living Hope as they were worshiping, Living Hope had a fire in their sanctuary. And they are worshiping in a fellowship hall. Mm-hmm. And they were sitting in the exact same chairs that we have right here. And so, microphone.
Oh, and he preached about the same thing you preached about Sunday morning.
Yeah, and so that was the other thing. So they sat in the same exact, very hard white plastic chairs, and they listened. I don't think it was the same text, though, but it was the same story. We had Legion and the guy with the demons, and they had the exact same story. Were y'all in Mark?
Yes.
Okay. It's the exact same thing in Mark that same Sunday, so that was pretty cool to hear. So y'all got to worship with them, so tell me about it.
Well, he started out with a, it just left me. If you know,
Then go.
you must go. And what he tied, with the story of Legion, when he cast the demons out and the man was healed instantly, he wanted to go with Jesus. And Jesus said, no, I want you to stay here and tell your story, because everybody knew him as being the wild-haired, crazy, tearing the world up guy. And he wanted him to stay and tell about his remarkable event. And Brother Sean was pointing at the remarkable event of conversion and saying that once you witness something like that, like Christians should, you must go and tell. And personally for Rachel and I, we were on the fence about going, but while we were sitting there, she told me that's why we're here, because if you know, you must go. And that's the bulk of it in a nutshell of what he was trying to get across, and it hit us like a ton of bricks. So, I mean, unless I missed something, I think that's about what he did with it. So,
Cool. Yeah. So what else? Tell me what else about Sunday. Tanya, he's handing you the mic.
They fed us a meal that Sunday, fried chicken, but there's not really a lot of great chicken places there, so they got it from the grocery store, they said, but it was good. We got to eat with the Living Hope Church and our team, and there was a team from Virginia. So I thought it was real neat, just Oregon, Virginia, Mississippi, all of us coming together with the same mission. But we have a picture back there in the corner of all of us, Virginia, Mississippi, some of Oregon, in that picture back there if y'all want to look at it after church. And then that afternoon we went to Crater Lake. So anybody want to, which is a dormant volcano. That was in Oregon, wasn't it? Yeah, yes. That was. Anyway, so that was all the pictures of the really blue water. It was really, really pretty there, and it was great. And, oh, yeah, there was a very interesting event Bob is about to tell y'all about on the way to Crater Lake. So,
You know, when you go somewhere with a group of people, you find out a lot about them that you didn't know, you know, when you spend time with them. I figured out there's an adventurous person here, and I pray for Nick every day for it. But as, you know, we talked at the church, they said, y'all go get some rest, y'all get out, and they suggested Crater Lake, so we had 2 SUVs. The Coopers had one, and that's another story. Jeff got kicked out later on. And Nick was our driver, and of course I was the pilot. Behind me sat Rachel and then Tanya. So we're going up through the mountains at about 50 miles an hour, and you know, I called out something on the left side of the road that I thought was pretty common in the world. It was a creek with water in it. And just like a 5-year-old, Rachel jumps up and says, water. She immediately goes over Tanya and rolls the window down and hangs out the window. Now, we're on a 4-lane, and people are coming the other way. And very calmly, Nick says, woman, get back in the vehicle. Just as calm as he could be. And like a 5-year-old, Rachel jumped back in her seat like she hadn't done anything. Well, as soon as she got in her seat, Nick said, woman, you dropped your phone in the road. And a boat came around us in a car. I don't know how he kept from hitting that phone, and we whipped over to the side of the road. There was no cell service to contact Jeff. I was trying. I thought we was going to go down a cliff, and Nick jumps out and runs in this 4-lane, picks up the phone, and comes back in. Stay in the car, and your phone works. Just as calm as that. And didn't have much trouble out of Rachel the rest of that trip till we got to Crater Lake.
well, you remember he put the window locks.
Microphone.
Yes, he had to lock the windows.
Window locks were on.
It was pretty water.
Microphone.
We had to do window locks and door locks after that.
I've never seen it before.
And this is how y'all relax after your
Yes, and
24
then,
hours
so
of travel.
We get back in the vehicle, and they's down the road, and they know something's happening, and they're pulled over, and, you know, it's traffic everywhere, and we're sitting like this, and Jeff gets out struggling, trying to come back. He says, is everybody okay, or y'all sick? I said, no, some moron dropped their phone out the window when they were hanging out taking a picture of the water. I said, I'm not going to say who it is.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard.
To figure out, yeah.
I didn't mean to.
I got
I
you.
know she didn't mean to throw her phone in the middle of the road, but it happened.
It does. It happens when you stick it out the window.
Yeah. So I get back in the vehicle. Kim said, what happened? Which one's sick? I said, Rachel dropped her phone. Well, is it okay? I said, I don't know. They couldn't tell me. Everybody was laughing so hard. Nobody
The phone
knew.
survived.
So, but I thought we going, you know, back and forth, up, and I thought somebody got sick. Because Nick, like Bob said, it looked like they went off the cliff. He just running 50 and nosed it off the road. There's no side to these roads. So, but yeah, we made it through that.
Well, y'all survived that early on. That's good to hear. I also understand, before we get into some of the ministry that y'all did, that y'all had one pair of roommates that referred to the other the wrong name at least half the trip. And because he thought that was his name. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
About day 2.5. We're sitting in the car, and I'm like, I look in the rearview mirror, and I say, Zane? He says, yes, Miss Kim. Now, Zane is McKenna's boyfriend. I said, do you realize that Bob has been calling you Zach? And he said, yes, ma'am.
They sat next to each other on the plane, too,
They roomed together.
and the same room.
They are sharing a room and sat beside each other on the plane. Okay. And I was like, okay, well, are you going to correct him? No, ma'am. Okay, why? And McKenna's like, because you scared. You scared, Miss Bob. You are scared. You are scared, scared, scared. And so he's like, no, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something. And so we're egging it on. And finally he says, a little bit later, he says, Mr. Bob? He says, yes, Zach? My name is Zane. And he said, well, really? And so then it became this running joke. We have called poor Zane every name except Zane since that moment. So you'll hear us refer to him as Zach, Wilson, Zachary, Shane, you name it. He's not Zane anymore. So call him whatever you want to. He's going to answer to it. So that was so funny.
He's
we
Wilson to
enjoyed
me
it.
because evidently I can't get to Zane and Zach, so I had 3 different roommates, and whatever I woke up to that day, that's what it was. So Wilson's just the easiest.
That 24-hour traveling period really did a number
Yes.
on you guys, I see.
Yes.
So, all right, so that's Sunday, and then moving into Monday is when y'all start your ministry.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. Let's walk through it.
We divided up into 2 teams. There's the share team, which did community outreach, and the serve team, which did mission grunt type projects, So we had a choice to go, which one we wanted to do. And so Nick, Rachel, Bob, and Jeff wanted to go help do landscaping at Eagle Point Elementary. And that just did not appeal to me in any shape, form, or fashion. But McKenna, Zane, Tanya, and I wanted to do the outreach, which we had ordered coloring sheets, Bible verse wristbands, bags, colors, all kinds of things, and had them shipped to Oregon. Thank you, Amazon Prime, for that. So that we could have those ready because we were planning to do snow cones in the park that afternoon. So that morning, we knew that they were having VBS this week. So our intent and purpose was to go and help lay the foundation to draw people in for that Bible school that's actually happening right now. Today's their last night of Bible school this week. So we went knocking door to door, which is very hard to do in a, big metropolis of Medford.
Well, it's hard to do here.
On a Monday morning, when there are notes specifically on the door that say, no trespassing, no soliciting, no proselytizing, beware of dog, they will eat you to death. And but we did it, and it was, we did everything we could. We scared little children walking down the road. Would you like some free candy? Tanya.
School teacher, by the way, school teacher.
So my understanding is they had little packets with candy in it and invitation to Bible school and info about the church, and they were trying to hand those out and put them on doors and that kind of thing. And my wife was very creepy to some children that were walking by offering them free candy, and that That's the thing they tell you not to do from like preschool on up. Don't take candy from strangers, and there she was.
And they did
So-
not.
Okay, good.
They stopped and said, they looked at each other, and Tanya's like, I'm not trying to be creepy. I'm really not.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Which-
and I'm thinking that's
which is
not
something-
making it better.
Yeah, that's something
That
creepy
immediately
people would
fixes
say.
it.
Right.
It immediately fixes it.
But I do think that they did end up coming to Bible school because.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they actually live next door to the church.
Okay.
So.
So thankfully you didn't have a van. Be like, really? Come look in my van. You know, thankfully. So good.
And then that afternoon, after lunch, Tanya went with the other team to the serve because they were on the wall of death, which is this wall that was probably at the elementary school, probably 100 yards long. And someone in their thoughtfulness planted rose bushes and thorn bushes that climbed up the wall, and the plan was to clean all of that out. So they needed more help, and Tanya volunteered. I'm focused on snow cones. That's where I was headed. And so that afternoon, McKenna, Zane, and I went to Don Jones Park. They have a little splash pad out there, and there were kids everywhere. And so some of the Virginia team went with us as well, and we handed out the packets that had the crayons and the coloring sheets that had Bible verses and Plan of Salvation on it, and, you know, inviting everybody to come to the Bible school and the church and everything, and had just a really good time on Monday. And everyone else came back from the wall of death with scratches and this bewildered look upon their face.
Yeah, I did notice a lot of briar scratches on my wife. What happened here?
That was Tuesday.
This
Oh,
is
Tanya
all
with the head.
Oh, look at
Bob's idea. Now, he's making fun of me because I dropped my phone trying to take a picture.
Right
what is
here.
this?
That was
Okay,
Bob.
so
Because that doesn't look right.
no. When we say that Rachel is the fun girl, it's because if she can think it up, she has no, apprehension about that's going to be fun. I want to be part of that. And I love that about you. And so Bob says, all right, let's go.
Actually, it was Bob's idea. He said, Rachel, you ought to get in this here thing and let me push you down the hill. So I climbed in it.
It's a cart, and Rachel got inside, and Bob started pushing her, and they went up that hill and turned around, and Rachel's in it. She's just like this. And Bob,
Tanya got in it later. It is fun.
and Bob, he's behind her, and he's pushing, and he's running. He's going as fast as he can. Did you see that speed bump? Right there about the middle? Bob hit said speed bump with everything he had, and it went downhill fast.
So that's what caused the tumble?
Yes, and
That's like 30 feet away.
yes.
So
That's
y'all,
just where they landed.
So y'all
McKenna
fell-
ran to check
Over.
on them. They're still tumbling.
okay.
Bob went over the big wheelbarrow and over me, like Superman. Over.
So you fell for
don't
30
regret it.
continuous feet
Yes.
and landed on your
Well,
back.
there were several feet there where Bob was trying to regain control of the situation.
Okay,
He was,
He failed.
but it didn't happen.
yeah. Where was Zach when you need him?
Wilson was watching.
Okay.
He's in the stands watching me.
I noticed Tanya did not do any
Well,
of this.
she was supposed to be videoing.
She
Okay.
did do it.
Did she
2
do it?
days later.
Okay. After.
Except I didn't let her
There's
fall.
no photographic evidence.
Okay.
All right, the tree in the back,
We were careful.
That.
here,
That. Okay.
over the hill. I'm by myself. Working
Yeah. Yeah.
over there, cutting bushes, and I hear it. And I said, that wasn't good. So I just went back to work. I figured they could handle it themselves. Well, 10 minutes later, here comes the buggy to pick up what I'm cutting. Peering out the front. Tanya, with Rachel pushing her.
That sounds
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. All right, so while we're here, this guy, Carmine, it's not like our schools. We were out of school doing service. Our schools has 8 people roughly in Pontotoc, 9. South Pontoc's got 8 or 9. North Pontoc's got 8 or 9 people that does work inside, landscape, keep everything clean. Carmine was a guy that was supposed to work the inside. He's not even supposed to be outside. The guy that works outside, who knows where he was at, and Carmine said he didn't know. So his boss got in touch with him, said this group of folks is coming from Mississippi. Can you help them? Or show them what to do and then go back in. Well, this guy, I think, was part of the reason why the serve team, here he is right here.
That's him.
The serve team flew all the way to Oregon. This guy in the last 2 years has been through a tremendous pain over the years. He got a divorce. Him and his wife had trouble for years and got a divorce. His son got cancer. His son couldn't handle it. His son killed himself. And then he decided, okay, God, what do you want me to do? What's going on? What have I done wrong? And he thinks, and he believes to this day, that God packed him up and moved him to Oregon away from everything. Since he was in North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
They originally lived in Arizona. The doctor that the son had retired, I think is what he said, retired, and the next best doctor they could find for what he had was in North Carolina. So they moved to North Carolina. Since all that happened, he moved to Oregon. So he's outside, and he tells his boss, these guys and girls are out here not to take over. They're come to help us. So I'm going to work with them. So he worked with us every day. And a lot of them that don't know it, when I was over the hill and he was showing me what to do, when I wasn't working, we were talking to each other. I was finding out a little bit more information, about him, what's going on and everything in his life. And y'all pray for him. I think, and I've always had a purpose to everywhere God sends me over the years, that I've been in some crazy places, and he's had a purpose for me going. And I think this was a purpose for our serve team for sure, and even the share team, because we wound up sharing. He shared with us his problems. We shared with him what God can do, and he knows. I believe in my heart, I think he's a Christian. I just feel that in my heart. But he was just going through some rough times, still going through rough times. He's trying to get his life together and everything, and he thinks God planted him in Oregon to try to put him back together. He has a girlfriend now, really supports him in what he's doing, and the kids there, all the teachers love him, so I think he's in the right place. He just needs a little guidance and a little help from God is where he's at now. We had a great time. We enjoyed it there with him, and learned a lot about him, and learned a lot about the school and where they stand. And this school is kind of like Pontotoc. You drive through the middle of Pontotoc City School. You got schools on each side. This had a road that just went right by it, went down to the junior high. People lived down there. People seen what we were doing, and they would stop and call his boss and say, why are these people here and where they're from? He said, these people come from Mississippi. well, why are they helping us? God sent them out here. You know, that's what he was telling them. God sent them out here to do this. And that was basically where we stood, and we enjoyed it.
And I understand you guys had an opportunity not only to share Christ with him, but also to invite him to Living Hope, and also even share our church's information with him.
Yeah, so if you're watching, Carmine, hey, man, good
Yeah,
to see
so
you.
he could watch it. He may be watching us now.
Yeah, you
So
never know.
so that's a pretty neat thing to be able to, for us to be able to reach that many miles away even now and minister to him. So
When we, sorry, on Tuesday, he got Thaxton Baptist in full force. McKenna, Zane, and I, and
All of them,
all 8 of us
all of them.
descended upon Eagle Point Elementary, and, you know, we, at that point, really connected. It felt like maybe a page turned or something, and all day Tuesday and then Wednesday as well. It just, you know, Tuesday he said, what are y'all doing for lunch? And me and Rachel like, well, we got sandwiches back at the church. And he's like, well, I'm gonna order a pizza. Why don't we eat pizza? Okay, all right, yeah. So we were able to sit down with him and really connect and listen to his stories and tell him, you know, yes, we feel your pain. We've been through similar situations, and just be able to minister.
Yep, excellent. So, brother, if you are watching, I would encourage you to plug in there at Living Hope, because you need a church family. You need what we have here and what we're able to do with each other, and Living Hope would be a great place for you to do that. So what else?
I believe there was another roommate incident where there was a revelation from the past.
So apparently I wrote McKenna up in 5th or 6th grade, and she has been holding that resentment for me for several years. So we were finally able to resolve that, and I think she's forgiven me now. So there we go.
Wow.
We're strong now, McKenna.
And so the man that works at the school is the reason that Jeff went, but McKenna's the reason you went.
Yeah, McKenna was,
Okay.
yes, we had to take care of that business between
Okay,
us.
good.
So.
Good. Super thankful.
And that tree that Jeff was in that I posted in the group is somewhere. That's probably the tree he was in whenever they fell out of the
It was, yeah.
thing. But,
So after slaving at the school, ministering to people you encountered, after being out in the park, ministering to the children and the people there and inviting them to Living Hope for VBS, and going door to door and all the things you did, what did God show you through all that?
I guess one of the things God showed me, because we did one more thing, we glued carpet on a wall at the church for sound, and
On
I just
purpose?
Yes, it was
Okay.
on purpose, and glue was everywhere. But
It was kind of straight.
yeah, our section, they finished it now. It looks pretty good. But I just learned that God, you end up doing things on this trip you never thought you could do or capable of, and it seemed like God He just gives you what you need, and you're able to do things that you've never done before on a mission trip, so, and in life.
To answer that question, being as we went out, Jeff and myself and Nick, when we went out and Rachel, that first day, you know, me and Jeff just looked at each other. I hate landscaping. That's not what we wanted to do. You know, we were going to do it. We were hoping it was a one-day project, and we got there and saw that and said, we ain't going to get done this week. But we did. But, you know, where I come from and at my house, I don't get to handle the equipment and everything, the trimmers. I get to pick the stuff up.
Yeah,
But, you
yeah,
know,
you-
this
that's what I was gonna say.
involved
You're
a whole
yeah.
lot of, you know, briars and equipment and some fun stuff. You know, Carmine said, he said there was a large bush, and he said they had gave him a pair of scissors to trim that before, and it was hanging over in the parking lot. So Jeff got to whacking on it, and, you know, he said, hey, Carmine's just didn't like that bush. So I said, okay, let me get these trimmers, and I'll do what I can do. So the bush is no longer there. It looks a lot better. I mean, it really does. I know Kim had sent something to my wife, and she said that's the reason, you know, he don't get to play with equipment. But it did look a lot better. But I saw from that day, we started connecting with him, but I learned something when basically Tanya got fired from scaring the kids. The whole group came over, that we're much stronger as one.
Yeah.
You know, we were together as our group, and I could see the difference in him because individually he talked to each one. You know, we were there for the same purpose, that God had sent us there. And, you know, I know we're stronger together, but I could see it, just opening up and see, you know, the way he came to us and the relationships we formed, how much stronger each of us was as we were together as one.
Yeah, that's cool. What else? So this was your first trip like this.
Yeah, well, and until that Saturday morning, Rachel and I had never been on an airplane, ever. You know, I've been around and built runways, you know, just never had a need to get on them. And I found out that a pair of Wrangler blue jeans, you can twist about a foot out of them before it gets uncomfortable. That initial lift from Memphis, yeah. But we made it, enjoyed it. It was a good experience. Being the way the seating worked out, she and I were sat next to somebody we didn't know on the Memphis to Phoenix flight both ways. Gentleman we talked to going out was from like Ohio. I was able to share with him what we were doing and different things. And on the way back, we shared with a lady from Memphis that was a backup singer for
Dee Dee something. She's a blues.
jazz singer, but she'd been out of the country for several days and was heading home, and we were able to share, you know, a little bit of our life with her and her with us, and witness a little and have a good talk. But that was it helped, you know, flying for the first time. You know, you don't know what it's going to be like till you do it, but we survived. We'll go back, but don't ask for a couple years. We got to save up the leaving the house. We don't. We had to save that for a long time so we could leave.
And I will say, they picked on me a lot because I took pictures of literally all the flowers, and all the scenery. I loved all the waters.
All the flowers?
All the flowers.
All of them.
Including weeds on the side of the road.
Those were sweet peas, thank you. We learned, me and Tanya had some botany lessons in there. but something that can be as so simple as flowers, and then going to the redwood forest and looking at those trees. So the tour guide said that you could build, 3 big houses with just one tree, and just seeing nature and being reminded that God's work is just beautiful. And that being in the plane, you look and everything is so small, but he's still sovereign over all of it. Yeah, that's the Ranger. But he's still sovereign over everything. That's one of the couple of things I was reminded of this week. So
That's cool.
The thing that really got to me is when we went out there, we didn't have a clear direction as to what we would be doing. And that, with my personality, that drove me nuts.
Right.
Absolutely nuts. I had lists and charts and things, and there were lots of blank holes. And so when we got out there, and after Monday when we were split up as a team, but then we got together and all of us worked with one common goal Tuesday and Wednesday. Like Bob said, you know, it was like as a group, we were stronger and more unified together. And when we went Thursday to the Redwoods, they have these little placards, you know, as you're walking the trail to learn about the Redwoods. And they are huge. They're 300 feet tall. I mean, and have been there way longer than, you know, you can really count. But it says that the root system of the Redwoods is 6 to 9 feet deep for a 300-foot tall tree. And they're everywhere. And you're like, how on earth are these trees still standing? And it's because their roots connect to the redwood next to them and intertwine with the one next to them. And so they are all standing together as a group. And they can stand tall and firm and strong because they are working together as one. And standing in that redwood forest, looking around, going, you know what? That's how it is. That's the lesson. That's the life lesson right there. We are stronger together as a unit because we are a family, the family of God, and we work together for that common goal.
Yeah, that's cool. So I always do a what did God teach you there? That's sort of your takeaway. But what did you bring back with you? How did this trip change you, develop you, transform how you see people, how you look at ministry? What application can you make back home from that trip?
I kind of made a post the other day that I like to reflect on what I've learned, but I've seen mission opportunities everywhere. Everything we did there, you can do here. Like we went and helped at the school. They handed out free snow cones. We helped, you know, do some stuff at the church. So mission opportunities are everywhere, and it's just being willing to look and find those things, and also just being willing to pay attention to people. You know, like sometimes we just go about our day and we don't look at anybody or talk. I just like just stop and pay attention to people and listen to them and talk to them. So those are some of the things that I'm going to challenge myself from what I learned from this trip. So.
The man that worked at the school, what was his name?
Carmine.
Carmine. So I think what Tanya was sharing is something I was thinking about while y'all were talking about Carmine. Is I think we have a tendency to, while we're working, even if it's ministry, while we're doing ministry, to view people like Carmine sometimes as a distraction or a hindrance or somebody that's sort of taking us off track and not letting us focus on what we're trying to do, when the actual way to look at it is that Carmine is not a hindrance to your ministry, he is your ministry.
That's it.
And we have Carmines everywhere. At work, at Walmart, at the grocery store, everywhere. And so that's one of the things, and I wasn't even on the trip, but that's one of the things that I kind of took back.
I got 5 daughters. Tanya said I wasn't going to be able to talk much. Anyhow,
Hey,
I guess.
are you cold?
No, I'm not cold. I like froze to death while he's gone. I guess probably sometimes a lot of y'all read my crazy posts and I get kind of carried away and run away with thoughts sometime. But I'm there by myself thinking. And one thing I thought of, and like Tanya, I'll reflect on this. And this is what hit me. Yeah, TSA, they give us a little trouble, and
Y'all are a shady group, let
Yeah.
me just say.
I wound up getting my bag took at Medford because I had a utility knife in it. I forgot.
Yeah, can't do that.
Lost a good utility knife.
They didn't forget.
And
No.
blades.
But I kind of like a group effort. We was all together. And while we was looking around and we was waiting our turns to go through and everything, I guess that's what reflected my thing on Facebook is we have to think of one thing first, is people don't know you when you're not around them every day. They look at the outside of you. They see how you act. They reading that cover of that book. They don't know what's inside. So the cover of that book needs to be, if you're a Christian, like the inside of you. And that, things like that's what I thought about when we stayed so long in the airport 2 different times. All these people are watching us just like we're watching them. Are they paying, how much attention are they paying to us? And we need to make sure that we act outside the church building as well as we do inside the church building. And that was just a thought and a thing that I put on Facebook, and it was just amazing to get to see so much different stuff out there we're not used to. It's so much different out there. Weather, scenery. It's amazing what God's created. And me and Bob was talking about one time, I said, and we were going through the forest, I said, Bob, people can't say this banged here. I said, God created this. I said, look at these trees. I said, look at these ferns. I said, look at the water and around that volcano.
Yeah.
It was so deep and blue and pretty. And God created that, just like he created this here. And we just got to be able to go see and got to share and witness to folks on that side of the United States.
Yeah, cool. So, with Living Hope, how can we best pray for them, for Matthew and his ministry? What are some things that we need to be aware of as far as our prayer life toward that end?
I would say, first and foremost, that we pray for Living Hope to grow. They're a very young church in an area that does not have a lot of mature Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And so when, there are people here who have been Christians longer than I've been alive. Mm-hmm. And, not necessarily so there in Southern Oregon. They're very spiritual people, and they are in tune with the world and the things of that, and they're very respectful in the fact that, they don't want to offend anybody. So you do you, and I'll do me, and we'll all live in harmony together. But that's not going to get them to heaven. That's not the way. And so that's where Living Hope is, and that is what they're trying to do, is to show them there is a way. You can't just let's all be happy and be together and be friends and hold hands.
Yeah.
It's not, that's not going to do it.
And that's sort of what Matthew and Jordan talked to us about, the relativism that exists there in that area. And we have it here, but more so there, where it's just, your truth is fine for you and my truth's fine for me, and let's just let our truths be our truths. Mm-hmm. And to minister in that society is a very difficult thing, because there aren't multiple truths. There's just one.
Yeah.
And to point people to that, I think certainly we need to pray for boldness in their ministry there, and receptive hearts.
Yeah.
from the people.
And not to get discouraged from meeting the walls, because you are making an impact, you're planting a seed. You know, I can attest to it. I'll tell you all about the guy that goes to church here that planted the seed with me. I'll tell you the whole story, just come ask me. But, you know, just a gentle nudge, but it can get discouraging from meeting people that are just indifferent to it. But that's a big thing that, you know.
And I will say, just real quick, they are having Bible school this week. They started out with 15 Sunday night, which that's more than double what they normally have, or at least what I saw there Sunday morning when we
Yes.
were at church there. But I talked to Matthew this afternoon, and they had 34 children at Bible school last night, and one girl got saved.
Oh, awesome, yeah,
So,
that's great.
you know, I feel like we have a small part in that, you know, laying the foundation for that. But that's one more for the kingdom.
Yeah.
Successful trip.
Was that one of the little girls that Tanya was really creepy to on the street, or? So, what about Matthew? How can we pray for Matthew?
Let's go back to the church
Yeah.
part first. They're kind of like what we are here. Snow got our building. Our insurance company was right on, you know, they got it. They had a fire in their church above one of the bathrooms, right around the bathroom. They've been struggling with this. It burnt a few trusses close to the edge of the wall. Well, when the insurance company got in and looked at it, they have, I call it Mexican tile on their roof. Lots of weight, and it wasn't built for what they put on it. Now the insurance company sees the swags, so they wanting them to go in and redo it, reinforce everything, and try to figure out how to fix what was burnt, which wasn't really a lot. So they came to me, and I'm not an engineer, but I sat down late one night, and I got Mike Faulkner in my head, and I got 2 or 3 other guys just, you know, right here in my head. And I'm thinking I have to try to come up with an engineering design to help these people where they won't have to take this whole building down, and they're going to have to take all trusses off if they don't. So I come up with a plan, I hope. I stayed up late at night. Kim said, "You got to go to bed." I said, "I'll get this worked out." And I think that's part of their struggle too, because they're in a fellowship hall. Their fellowship hall's nowhere the size of ours. It's real small.
It's like the size of the kitchen.
Yeah,
in
it's
there.
like a kitchen. So they're trying to have church, so they can't get new people in because of the size. So they need a lot of prayer to try to make this engineering design I came up with, or something close to it, that hopefully the insurance will pass. If the insurance passes, they can go with it, start putting sheetrock back up, you know, and everything. But that's a big prayer right there. They're limited, you know, far as that, to be able to do spiritual work because they're limited in space. You know, that's a big thing too.
Yeah.
Okay, Matthew.
Yeah, tell us how we can pray for Matthew.
Matthew, he needs encouragement. He needs clarity and wisdom. I think that if he can have clarity as to what God's will is and which direction he needs to go, because he is an intern there, and so he's been there a year now, and so they're starting to ask him, "Okay, Matthew, now that you've had this training and you see what church planting is all about, where do you feel that God is leading you? You know, is he leading you to stay here in Medford and try to start another church, or to go to a church that is dying, you know, somewhere. You know, what is God leading you to do? And at this moment, as of, you know, the last time I talked to him, he did not have clarity on that yet. He needs clarity and wisdom to know which direction the Lord wants him to go. But he said for now, he will wait. He will wait on the Lord to tell him. So he's in Medford, and he'll be with Living Hope until the Lord moves him. You know, whether that be to go to a church that is already planted but needs revitalized, or to go to an unreached community there in Oregon, you know, or the Pacific Northwest in that area up there. You know, he's like, Mom, I just need to know what God wants me to do. And I said, well, you wait until he shows you.
Yeah.
So just pray for him.
Yeah,
in that
and,
respect.
you know, really, there's no better way to know where God wants you to serve than to start serving where you are or continue serving where you are. And so he's well on his way to that. The Lord will certainly do that, and we'll pray to that end. I understand there's also a church that perhaps is dying. I think it's Northern California.
Yes.
That Matthew's gone to some and ministered to them.
Yes.
Do you know anything about them?
They're in Wairika, California, and they do have a pastor. His health is not good, and he needs to retire. And so they are looking for a pastor.
Okay.
But at this time, Matthew does not feel that that's where God's calling him.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's it. Well, I pray for faithfulness. We all will. He'll just keep serving where he is, and the Lord would open doors.
Yes.
So good deal. Anything else you want to share before we close?
If you know, you should go.
That's
There
right.
you go. McKenna and Zach, y'all got anything? Okay. What about you, Zane? Do you have anything? All right.
Wilson?
Wilson,
Yeah. Okay.
Wilson might know something.
Cool. Well, do y'all have any questions for them? We've got a little bit of time where we could take a few questions if y'all have any.
Fredericksburg. Yes, yes.
Yeah, there was like, what, two or three churches that was together.
I couldn't get it out of them, but one of them was from like the association or the mission board.
Yeah, one of them worked for the Virginia Convention.
Yeah.
And one was a pastor from another church, and then the rest of them, I think, were the same group.
And somebody was from Bellevue.
Yeah, a
weren't they?
couple of them were from
That was a
Mississippi.
week before.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a couple of guys, one was from Jackson, one was from Hattiesburg,
Yeah.
that had made their way out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we tried to figure things out, and make the connection, but
There's a photo.
yeah.
any other questions?
Tanya said she'd answer anything.
Yeah. All right.
I have learned so much about Miss Tanya.
Good. Tell us.
No.
Tell us more.
Yeah, what
You know-
stays in Oregon, what happens in Oregon.
Yeah, I always thought, pastor's wife, I growed up, my dad was a preacher, and mama, she's so reserved and everything, but I know how my mama is.
She's wild, isn't she?
She ain't wild, but she is so open. She don't, I
She
just figured
really,
she'd be
yeah.
quiet, very quiet spoken and everything. Man, she loud.
Hey,
So she does get loud. I have to tell her, like in the car, to stop screaming at me. I'm sitting right here. She does get loud, but the lack of sleep and all that contributes to that. And she gets very giggly too. Did y'all see that?
Yes.
That
Yes.
night, everything was funny.
Yeah.
After going on 24 hours, no sleep.
And
But
see,
it
nothing I
was-
say is funny at the house, but
she saved it for the trip.
All right, on the way back, real quick, we spent another 11 hours. We decided to get out of the airport And that's when we run into TSA the second time.
Yeah, no bueno.
Hey.
No.
Ain't nothing open at 8:30 in the morning in Phoenix. Nothing.
Except the train.
We've been up long enough, we was ready for lunch. There wasn't no breakfast nowhere. I mean, nothing open. And let me tell you, they say it's humidity's rough. 105 at 9 o'clock, a dry heat, it's hot.
Yeah. Hot's hot.
Hot's hot.
Yeah.
Nothing but concrete and gravel.
Yeah. So we decided to go back. Let's get something to eat real quick, whatever we can find. And we went happily back to the airport. It wasn't bad as we thought.
Yeah. There you go. Well, good deal. Well, one last chance for any questions.
Hard question.
All right. I'd like to ask Brother Wes, if you don't mind, pray for Living Hope Church and for Matthew and for Carmine, that's his name, Carmine, and any other things the Lord lays on your heart, if you would.
Father in heaven, we are so thankful for the divine moments that you give us. Sometimes it just requires us to get away to sharpen our focus and for us to be able to see what really matters around us. Lord, I thank you for this team. I thank you for the bond that has just naturally developed between them, as it always does when a mission team gets together and is focused on a solitary purpose of serving you. Lord, I thank you for the joy and the laughter. I thank you for the work that they did, and I thank you, Lord, for the impact that they made, that which is seen and that which is unseen. Lord, I pray for this gentleman, Carmine. You know him. You care about him. You loved him enough to send people into his life. And I pray that he recognizes the sovereign work of God in his life and the Spirit of God that is available to him. Father, I thank you for the lessons learned and those shared with us. And I do pray, Lord, the same prayer that Nick has alluded to several times. If you know, you must go. Not necessarily to Oregon, but Lord, wherever we are, whether it's Pontotoc or Oxford, we are your emissaries. We are your ambassadors. And may we not lose sight of that. Finally, I pray for Matthew and I pray for the church, Living Hope. I pray that that church will become a beacon of light in the midst of a community that's searching for light. I pray for Matthew, Lord. I pray that you will encourage him. I pray that you'll make him aware that it's okay not to know until it's time to know. Because that's the hardest place to be. So, Lord, I pray that you will encourage him and you will be very present with him, Lord. I know you will lead him. I know you will guide him. It's your will for his life. I know you'll reveal that, but I pray that you will help him to be at peace in the moments as you reveal yourself to him. Lord, I pray that we as a church will embrace the call to be salt and light in a world that desperately needs you. I pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So, real quick, I remembered what I forgot earlier, so it came to me. I mentioned to you about the opportunity to partner with Pontotoc PD and the fire department for school supplies. Our outreach team, in addition to that, every year we've been taking food to the school to help pack take-home food for some of the kids in our schools that maybe don't have it. when they get home. And ministering to those children, our outreach team is also packing some backpacks filled with some school supplies, and they're getting them to those children as well. So I just wanted to make y'all aware of that we were doing that. So don't forget about donuts Thursday, and then also we'll see you at church Sunday. Don't forget to bring your school supplies, okay? Anything else before we go? Choir practice. All right, see y'all later.
And thank y'all for letting us go.
Absolutely.
And I hope we represented Thaxton, our church family, every one of you, little ones, everybody. I hope we represented y'all well. And I tried to make a conscious effort not to get too ornery with a certain person. But thank y'all, really, thank y'all for letting us go. We had a good time, learned a lot, and like Jeff said, I learned a lot about the other 7 that went with us. That was really good. Thank you.
All right. That's it. You got it.